This is a country that once coasted through 589 days without a national government. And honestly, daily life barely noticed. The buses kept running, hospitals stayed open, kids went to school as if nothing had changed. It's a place where two people can share a home, a mortgage, and full legal protection without ever getting married. And once a year, a quiet town named Boom hosts what is widely considered the biggest music festival on the planet. This is Belgium, a place most Americans think they already know, quietly stitched together from two halves that barely agree on a single thing. Here are 15 facts about real life in Belgium that most people never learn. In June of 2010, Belgium held a national election and then spent the next 589 days unable to form a government. That is about a year and 7 months with no elected national leadership in charge. It set a world record for the longest peacetime stretch without a government, breaking the old mark once held by Cambodia. A new cabinet led by Prime Minister Elio Di Rupo was finally sworn in on December 6, 2011. Now, here's the part that should not make sense. Through all those months, the country kept running like normal. And the reason is quietly brilliant. In Belgium, most of the things that touch your daily life, hospitals, schools, trains, garbage collection, social security, are handled at the regional and local level. A professional civil service keeps them running even when the politicians in the capital stall. The clinics stayed open, the trains kept running. A country governed itself for 589 days with nobody officially in charge, and the lights never flickered. And life there is built to be livable. Public school is free, and university costs local and European students only around $1,200 a year, which is just a fraction of the roughly $38,000 an average American college charges. Belgians work about 34 hours in a typical week, get 20 paid vacation days plus 10 public holidays by law, and they actually rank among the top 3 countries on Earth for work-life balance. Before we go further, drop a comment and tell us where in the world you're watching from. We're curious how far Belgium's story travels. A country that runs itself without a government sounds like a dream until you learn that the divide underneath it nearly tore Belgium in two. That's fact number 9. Since January 1st, 2000, Belgium has offered something called legal cohabitation. Two people who live together file a short declaration at their local town hall, and from that moment the law protects them. No wedding, no ceremony, no marriage license required. Here's what makes it feel foreign. It isn't only for romantic couples. Any two people sharing a household can register. A pair of close friends, or even two relatives living under one roof. Once they do, their shared home is protected, so one person can't quietly sell it or borrow against it without the other. It treats a household as a partnership, whatever that household happens to be. And plenty of Belgians choose it on purpose. This isn't just young couples testing the waters. Many register because it offers real advantages on taxes and inheritance, with far lighter paperwork than marriage. In 2019, about 40,000 couples signed up for legal cohabitation, nearly as many as the 44,000 who got married that same year. It sits right beside marriage as a normal, respectable way to build a life. It fits the people too. Belgians tend to be reserved and protective of their private lives. Polite, but in no rush to let you in. The law just follows that instinct. Stick around because at the very end, I'll share one last thing about Belgium that almost nobody knows. But first, if you're enjoying this, tap the hype button to help the video reach more people. It only takes a few seconds, and it means a lot. Belgians may guard their privacy, but once a year, hundreds of thousands of them throw the rulebook out the window. That brings us to number 3. In a small Belgian town called Boom, yeah, that's really its name, a woodland park transforms every summer into what many call the biggest and most iconic electronic music festival on the planet, Tomorrowland. Since 2005, it has grown into something hard to picture. More than 400,000 people pour in across the run, traveling from over 200 countries, a crowd drawn from more nations than holds seats at the United Nations. In 2026, it takes over 2 full weekends, July 17th through 19th and July 24th through 26th, at a park called De Shore. And the stages are the stuff of fantasy. Enormous storybook sets rise out of the trees, glowing castles, giant mechanical creatures, waterfalls of light. Tickets routinely sell out within minutes, long before most people have even seen the lineup. So why here in a quiet town most maps ignore? Part of it is location. Belgium sits at the crossroads of Western Europe, a short train ride from Brussels, Amsterdam, Paris, and London, which makes it easy for a global crowd to reach. And part of it is reputation. The festival became famous for treating stage design like theater. And that obsession, honestly, pulled the whole world toward a forest in boom. A town whose name sounds like a punchline now hosts one of the largest gatherings anywhere on Earth. That festival pours world-famous beer, and in Belgium, beer isn't just a drink. It's officially protected art. On November 30th, 2016, UNESCO added something unexpected to its list of the world's intangible cultural heritage, Belgian beer culture. Not a monument, not a dance. The entire national relationship with beer, honored alongside the world's great living traditions, and it totally earns the title. Belgium brews more than 1,500 different beers from over 400 breweries. Trappist ales made by monks, fruit beers, and lambics, fermented by wild yeast drifting in the open air. It's less a drink menu than honestly a library. Then there's the ritual that stops visitors cold. Almost every beer has its own glass. A heavy chalice for a Trappist, a tall flute for a lambic, and, a rounded bowl for the next. This isn't just decoration. The shape is meant to hold the foam and carry the aroma of that specific brew. So if a bar is out of the right glass, they'll often ask you to choose a different beer rather than serve it in the wrong one. The beer decides the glass, not the other way around. Add a steaming plate of mussels and fries, and you start to understand just how seriously this country takes what it puts on the table. Beer, festivals, easy living. From the outside, Belgium looks like it has everything figured out, but there's a crack running straight down the middle of this country and the heaviest tax bill on earth. We'll get there. A fight Belgians will happily have with you. They insist the fry is theirs and that calling it a French fry is a small historical injustice. One popular story says the name came from American soldiers in the First World War who tasted them in the French-speaking part of Belgium and assumed they were in France. The honest truth is that the origin is still debated. Some historians trace the modern fried potato back to Paris in the late 1700s, so no one can hand Belgium a clean patent. But here's what Belgium can claim without argument. It turned the fry into a way of life. One of the first successful fry shops opened in Liège back in 1838. And today you'll find friedis, or fritcots, in nearly every town serving fries in a paper cone with dozens of sauces, mayonnaise, curry, ketchup, and Belgium has even petitioned UNESCO to protect its fry culture as heritage. And it isn't only potatoes. Belgians are serious about everything they eat. Brussels Airport is the single biggest chocolate sales point in the world. It moves roughly 3 pounds of chocolate every minute, around 850 tons a year, at one point making up a third of everything the airport sold. The average Belgian eats more than a dozen pounds of chocolate a year without blinking. So this is a country ready to argue for an hour about the perfect fry. The only catch is they'd argue about it in 3 different languages. Belgium has 3 official languages, and they split the country almost like a line drawn across a map. In the north, in a region called Flanders, people speak Dutch. The local form is often called Flemish. In the south, in Wallonia, they speak French. And in a small pocket along the eastern border, there's a German-speaking community as well. Now, hold the size in your head. Belgium covers about 11,800 square miles, which makes it smaller than the state of Maryland. Yet, drive from the north of this little country to the south, and the language on the road signs changes, the television changes, the newspapers change, even the political parties change. It can feel like crossing a border without leaving the country. The capital is its own special. Brussels sits inside Dutch-speaking territory, yet daily life there runs mostly in French, with a large international population on top. So the city is officially bilingual. Its street signs are printed in two languages side by side, and none of this is casual. Language here is written deep into the law. Schools, courts, political parties, even the makeup of the national government, all have to be balanced between the language groups. That single rule shapes how Belgium runs. And it's the quiet reason this country keeps landing at the center of our story. Quick question while we're here. What surprised you most about Belgium so far? The no government record? The festival in boom? Drop it in the comments. You'd think a country this split would fade into Europe's background. Instead, it quietly runs the whole continent. For a country this small and this divided, here's the twist nobody expects. Belgium is in practice the capital of Europe. Brussels is home to the European Commission, the Council of the European Union, and the European Council, plus one of the seats of the European Parliament. When world leaders say they're flying to Brussels for a summit, this is why. And it doesn't stop with the European Union. NATO has run its headquarters from Brussels since 1967. Add it all up, and the city hosts around 120 international organizations and more than 300 diplomatic missions, the largest diplomatic community on the planet. There are more ambassadors packed into Brussels than into Washington, D.C. So, how did a small bilingual country end up holding the keys to a continent? A lot of it comes down to geography and timing. Belgium sits right between France and Germany, the two powers Europe most needed to bind together after the Second World War. It was central neutral ground, a compromise almost no one objected to. Being small became the whole point, and, you feel it on the streets. Brussels blends a gilded medieval square, the Grand Place, with glass and steel towers full of policymakers. Walk a few blocks and you'll hear a dozen languages. A quiet country of 11 million helps steer a union of nearly 500 million. It runs Europe out in the open, but the real treasure hides in just a few streets of Antwerp. Around 84% of the world's rough diamonds, the uncut stones straight out of the ground, pass through a single district in the city of Antwerp. Roughly half of all polished diamonds move through there too. And this isn't a sprawling industrial zone. It's a handful of streets you could walk across in about 15 minutes. Here's the paradox that makes it strange. Belgium doesn't have a single diamond mine. Not one. Its grip on the trade has nothing to do with what's under Belgian soil and everything to do with more than 5 centuries of skill. Think generations of cutters, a dense web of traders and banks, and a level of trust so deep that fortunes in uncut stones change hands on little more than a handshake.